Hello and welcome to Sons of the Dragon, the Immortal Iron Fist podcast. My name's Connor McKenna,
And I'm Rebecca Hart.
and we're back. This is current, not live,
Woohoo.
but it is current. So, yes, yay!
Yay.
As
We're
I explained before, I needed a break, etc. So, get back to listening. I'm shaking my fist if you can't see it. But we are back for an absolutely stellar, exciting issue. The conclusion and continuation to the last episode, Power Man and Iron Fist 62, published April 1980. The cover artist is Kerry Gamble, Bob Layton. The title of the story is One Must Die. The writer is Joe Duffy, penciler Kerry Gamble, inker Kerry Gamble, colorist Glynis Wayne, letterer John Costanza, and editor Dennis O'Neill. So, yeah, but first, is there any Iron Fist news? I haven't really seen anything outside
not
of his
really,
War
I
of the
don't
Realms.
Yeah, just his appearances in various War of the Realms titles. I think he was in something else briefly, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of him in Daredevil a few months back. Yeah, that's it really. Nothing. Have you read any of the War of the Realms bits with him?
No. I saw stuff people posted, I think you and the Iron Fist page, and I wasn't impressed.
It's a bit quippy, Iron Fist. I don't think you'd love it.
Everyone knows my opinions on quippy Iron Fist, and I'm still annoyed that this phenomenon sort of came into existence somehow.
It kind of, I don't hate it as much as you do. I just think it needs to be in moderation.
Like, I'm fine with moderation.
Yeah, I don't want it all the time, and but then I also felt they over-quippied Spider-Man in War of the Realms, which is hard to do, but I thought they went a bit far with that. But I did like bits of him in Strike Force, which is his primary bit in it, was the Land of the Giants Strike Force issue.
Okay.
He's also in bits of the main title. He does good stuff, it's just the quippiness, and it's a bit of a shame after the Brisson run was so good.
Mostly good.
Yeah, but like compared to what we've had recently, I'd have said it was like fairly standard, pretty good, and I'd have said good, because it kind of it ties up some of the stuff from Immortal Iron Fist. So it just felt like there was a thought behind it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you loved it, if you hated it. I think it was still. I know you didn't hate it. I take on board what you say about mostly good, but I just it was just nice to have an Iron Fist title that I think. Yeah, obviously there were issues I didn't love, but overall I think it was a good achievement, and I'm not sure when we'll get another Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Maybe in Shang-Chi, but I don't know.
I mean, we're going to be getting, if the movie goes through, we're going to be getting Shang-Chi at some point, because Marvel always...
They try. They don't always get it bang on, like they didn't with with any of the Netflix ones, and they haven't with some of the previous films, and even having like the Hydra Cap stuff going on with some of the Captain America films was possibly not. They're not perfect at it, but they're starting to try a bit better. So, I mean, I think obviously they'll try and do something Shang-Chi, and they'll be changing his origin for the film, I imagine. And some interesting rumours about that, but we're not a Shang-Chi podcast. So we'll see.
Yeah, I guess... Yeah, hopefully. Actually, there is some good Iron Fist news. If you have a Switch... I believe Rebecca and I both have Switches, actually.
I do have a Switch.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is coming out, and Iron Fist is a playable character.
Oh, is he? I only knew about Moon Knight. I'm terrible.
Oh, that is terrible.
Well, to be fair, I'm not really planning on buying it on
Is he playable too?
Yeah. I think... I don't know. He's in it. I don't know if he's playable. I don't really know anything about the game. I just, It's really expensive, and I'm almost certainly not going to buy it straight away, so I kind of haven't wanted to spoil myself too much. Not spoil, but, I haven't read a lot about it. I don't even know if it's the kind of game I'd like, but I do have a Switch, so...
If I have the money, I'll probably do Afterpay.
Yeah.
But because I really want to play as Iron Fist, and Daredevil's playable too. Hopefully, pre Charles Soule Daredevil, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So
but the current Daredevil's amazing.
Is it still
Zdarsky, Chip Zdarsky's doing it.
Is it still like no one knows who he is but Foggy and stuff?
They've not really. It's been very much more about Matt right now, so they haven't really gone wide.
Okay.
So I don't know. I can't answer that. Well, wait a sec. The other Defenders turn up and know who he is, so.
Yeah. Well, he told them at the end of Defenders, didn't he?
So I think yeah. So but they've not really gone wider than that. He's working as a probation officer. It's a new job for him.
Okay.
And I don't really want to say too much, but he's kind of like not really been out as Daredevil much.
Yeah. I mean,
but it's very good.
Day,
it's very good in the traditional sense of, Matt being miserable again, but in a slightly different way.
Mm.
So it's a really good run so far. I mean, we're only like 6 issues in, so who knows?
Yeah, having read pretty much all of Daredevil up to just before Mark Waid's run ended, like, the whole thing of Daredevil being miserable is interesting, because a lot of the times writers will try and make him more miserable, and most of the time it actually works.
It does, which is what's strange. And the funny thing is, I saw somebody who's never read Daredevil before, who's been reading this, and was like, "Oh my God, why is he so miserable all the time?" And it's like, if you're gonna go read back on Daredevil, there's a lot of misery. But for some reason, like everyone was like, "Oh, it's just gonna be again." But for some, I don't know, Zdarsky, who's known really primarily for having been a comedic writer, isn't touching comedy at all here.
Okay.
And there's a really lovely scene with Spider-Man and Daredevil, which is something I've missed, like sort of a really sort of heartfelt one. And
do they know
the latest issue? Yes, Spider-Man knows.
Okay.
And the latest issue touched on Catholic guilt and his Catholicism, which is quite nice. Because it's just it's weird because we all talk about how Daredevil's had the most consistently good runs of a character, like, because there's not as many bad runs of Daredevil.
No.
But it is interesting to see someone come in and tackle similar themes that have done before, but just do it differently. And I guess we've seen that happen before. We're just used to it being in classic runs, not like now, because the Wade run was so different. Not the Wade run. What do I mean? Yeah, do I mean the Wade run?
Charles Soule?
No. I mean the one before that.
The Wade run I read
where everyone knew who he was. The new Wade run. Yeah. Was that Wade?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Before
Yeah,
Soule.
everyone found out in Bendis's run, but Wade's run, I think, like, literally everyone found out. I didn't get up to that part. I was on this Monster Mash bit, and then I stopped reading because
I really liked it just because it's different, but I know a lot of people hated it.
I liked it. I mean, Daredevil has a cheerful, swashbuckling past. He was quite adventurous and cheerful before. He got all depressed.
That's what I like. I liked it because it was such a change of pace.
And I think you needed that because, like, for the past continuously, he'd been in a rut, and then it all culminated when he took over the hands and then got possessed and everything. And I'm like, well, he has to have a change. He can't do another, him being depressed storyline because it just wouldn't work because he just felt like the lowest he could possibly
balance it out a bit, I think, yeah.
So I think he did that very well. I just didn't finish reading it because I can't remember why. I was like, I get it, the surfing guys are KKK, and I'm just bored. I don't know. But one day I'll get back to it and finish it.
Yeah, well, also you've got a decent Superman run, so,
Who does?
You do, yeah, don't you? I don't know.
Have I got a decent Superman run?
Currently, I don't know. People seem to like it.
Oh, yeah. I just comprehended your question.
Yeah, sorry, I was just talking about the fact that we all have limited money for good comics, and that sometimes means that some of them have to be pushed to trade buying or buying in sales later. And I don't think there's much shame in that, so because comics are expensive.
Yeah. the current Superman run, I'm a couple issues behind. I'm about to get to the Leviathan Rising special, but it's like, it started off, the Action Comics started off pretty well, but it's kind of just all this big global conspiracy stuff, and then, Superman's son, John. I don't care about John. I don't like John. From what I've read, from what I've read of John, I
That's
don't like
fair.
him.
I've not read any of the Bendis John. I've only read
Well,
Baby John.
Maybe I don't like him is unfair. I don't care about him.
That
because
sounds fair.
I pick up a book, for a few issues, he's pretty much been the main character in the book. And I'm like, I'm picking up a Superman book. You want to make John the main character, make a Superboy book,
Yeah.
So it's kind of, but I'm still picking it up because I'm hoping after this Leviathan stuff, it'll get better again. So, but yes, Bendis, surprising me with his good grasp on the character. So, it's a bit of fan service sometimes. But
I've actually read the Leviathan Rising
special. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it mostly because of the Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah,
so I'm curious to see what they're like.
The Lois Lane comics getting incredibly good previews.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
So I'm kind of really tempted, but I don't have the money. So that one for me is the one that I'm like, I want to buy it, but I'm going to have to trade weight it because I am getting the Jimmy one.
Yeah, I mean they're both paired with really good writers who I think who will suit the characters
and artists. I mean, because Mike Perkins, who did the Britain run for Iron Fist, is doing Lois Lane, and Steve Lieber, who did the Fix, is doing the Jimmy Olsen one.
I'll say Ivan Reis' artwork in Superman is spectacular.
Yeah, and he's amazing.
The reason I'm picking up the book the most is because his cosmic artwork is really amazing. So, but we're talking about interesting things too much.
Yes,
we should really get
let's get on to something
issue.
Really boring.
So, I'm sorry for all you little Carls and Troys out there that grew up with these issues and love them to death.
And me. Like, you don't have to be,
and
like,
you.
Yeah, fair. I'm Carl's age.
Because, like...
This is not great.
We'll go into it as we go, I guess. So we have the cover, and, it's action-packed cover. Luke's crunching a car while being shot. Danny's punching some dude.
It's a good cover. Really.
Luke and the Fist are winning now, but just wait. So we come into where we were last issue, and Danny busts through the wall with our Thunderbolt, the super fast dying person.
Oh yeah, I remember him now.
XDA. Yeah, and they're attacking the Mafia because they're wondering where Luke is. And, we get a probably standard fight scene. It's decent. Yeah, we have Iron Fist knocking a knife away, but then he gets snuck up on and hit in the back of the head. There was sometimes I feel like, maybe not this issue in particular, but Iron Fist's fighting prowess is better in his own books when he's not in a team.
Yeah.
And there was a nod to that in a miniseries I read where Iron Fist is talking about when he's in, like, Heroes for Hire, he's just softer. But when he's by himself,
it
he's
does
more
seem
focused.
to be, yeah.
Yeah. And, we have Thunderbolt taking out everyone in the room. So blah, blah, blah. Where's Luke Cage? So he cuts to the cemetery with Big Ben Donovan.
Oh, God, I remember these names now.
He showed up in the run we covered, the new run, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. And he was also in the Luke Cage Netflix show too. Rest in peace. And Luke's tied up in a coffin. He's still knocked out. Big Ben Marco, blah, 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 punches him out. I mean, this is just not very interesting.
It's just, there's a lot of text in this. And it's not like, we're used to, like, speech bubbles and interesting use of sort of, like, how they use the blocks of text. This is literally top and bottom of each panel, or top of each panel, with a little paragraph of text. It's quite...
Yeah.
It's a drag to read.
Yeah, so they're about to bury Luke alive in a grave, and they've even made a tombstone just for him.
Because why wouldn't you?
Because they're the bad
You'd
guys.
go to that kind of trouble.
At least it's something colourful in this issue.
Yeah.
But, so, interrogation, talking, running, Iron Fist getting a taxi in his crazy clothes. He is not a cool cat. And then we cut to the office, and Misty is calling Jenny.
Yes.
Pre-jail.
Yeah.
She didn't age much in the...
No, in fact,
in
she probably
between.
aged down, if anything.
Yeah, that's a good
But,
point, actually.
Fair. Happens a lot
so-
in comics, especially to women.
So Misty and Colleen are getting annoyed because, well, they can't get a hold of them, and they're kind of thinking they're just giving them the cold shoulder, which is understandable.
And all their business is going to Heroes for Hire because, Danny and Luke have got powers.
Yeah, which is a pretty interesting situation. Like, your two best buddies have opened up this business, and then they're just kind of stealing all of your
It's
business.
one of the more interesting dynamics in this run, actually. Like, whenever it crops up between the whole four of them.
I mean, if I wanted someone spied on or tailed, or if I wanted, like, real private investigator work, I would definitely go with Nightwing Restoration.
Right, because they are much better detectives, but Luke and Danny have the firepower.
Yeah, if I wanted muscle, then I'd go... Because, like, Luke and Danny, they're not subtle.
They're not.
Their outfits are
And
so
it's also
garish,
like,
even by 70s.
obviously Misty's a decent fighter and has the arm. Colleen's an amazing fighter. But they're more specialist at the detecting.
Well, Misty was she a detective or was she just a patrol?
It doesn't really matter. Either way, she has more knowledge of the law, probably.
Yeah, I mean, she's currently a private investigator, so she's already...
And Colleen's really good. And, so they can take out enough that they don't need to hire muscle. But Luke and Danny are if you want something really big and flashy.
Yeah.
They might even charge less. Who knows? Because Danny doesn't understand money.
I doubt they charge less since Hogarth is in charge of all that.
Too, yeah.
And so Misty just breaks her chair out of frustration, and Colleen's like, we're really broke, and we don't have enough money to buy another chair now. So you just watch that temper.
While Colleen's saying, well, we better take this anonymous job then, because it's the only business we've got.
Yeah. Yeah, so, back to
the graveyard.
Yes.
Luke's struggling in the box, they bury him, then their little break fights out, and what's his name's gonna kill Donovan.
Yeah, so... Yeah, Donovan's about to be executed. Luke's trying to get out of the coffin, and he's not. Thunderbolt turns up. He starts beating everyone up.
Yeah.
And then Marco gets a hold of him. And then, in a cool panel, straight out of like a werewolf comic, or like a horror comic in the 70s, Iron Fist shows up with the moon behind him, a blood red moon.
Is he standing on top of a car there?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And there's also the question of how Danny got there remotely in a similar time to Thunderbolt, considering he took a taxi and Thunderbolt's like a super fast person. But anyway.
Taxi. Maybe Thunderbolt was hiding behind that tree for like an hour.
That's true. That could be, Thunderbolt might have just gotten there early. So, so we have a pretty cool fight, actually. We have Danny throw down with Marco. Danny's not inflicting any damage on him. And then he does a feint and does a palm strike right under his chin and knocks him out. And what I really like about this is Danny knocked him out without using the Iron Fist.
I like that as well, yeah.
And Luke can't knock this guy out. That says a lot about Danny's prowess and technique. So
it's definitely a technique thing as well, like knowing exactly where to get him.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. So it's a really awesome moment. Probably the best moment in the issue for me. I really liked it. This was like my takeaway. And in the coffin is lots of drugs, cocaine, grass, pills, all that good stuff. So Danny takes it and retires in Cuba.
Because they say it's worth $2 million, which in today's money would be a lot.
Yeah, it would be a lot.
But they're like, oh no, they just realised that Luke must be buried alive.
Yeah. And Luke breaks the chains
Well, they think
free.
alive. We think alive. They don't know that, I should say.
That's true. And then Bad Bed Donovan pulls a gun on them. Ha 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 ha. Don't tell me you're surprised. So he's backstabbing the Mafia, or the Magia, and Iron Fist and Thunderbolt.
Yeah, and they're like, what? You wanted Luke to help you? And he's like, now I'm getting revenge on everyone. Whoever
like, yeah,
wronged
man.
me. And you're like, oh my god. Like, my this is too much.
And then it turns out he was behind.
Thunderbolt's brother's death, right?
Yes, there was this whole conspiracy, and he played a vital part in it, and he was essentially behind it. So Thunderbolt pulls his mask off, and he's an old, decaying person. Like, literally, because he's aging rapidly.
Yeah, the radiation, blah, 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 blah.
It's supposed to be like 30.
Yeah.
So Thunderbolt goes up, and then actually it's a really cool sequence here.
This is like a horror thing here.
Yeah, totally. Where Luke's hands burst out of the ground.
Donovan's backing up. Thunderbolt's like approaching on him. He's like, "No, you can't be this guy." And he's like, "Yes, I am." Blah blah. Blah. And then Luke's hand reaches through this grave and grabs Donovan by the ankle, and Donovan misfires, and that gives Thunderbolt the chance to take him out. Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Magi is escaping, but Luke stops that car.
Yeah.
And Luke doesn't need any help because he ties them all up with a big thing.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
I'm not sure what that is, yeah. Let's say rope. Could be anything. Looks like a hose.
So Thunderbolt does something.
They hear a gunshot, I guess, that blam.
Oh, okay.
What's that? Thunderbolt?
So he shot him in the hand, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Thunderbolt then proceeds to die on his brother's grave.
Yeah, it's very melodramatic and tragic. I'm sure it'd be tragic. I honestly think the last two issues might have been better if they'd given them a bit more room to breathe. Because the exposition is so oppressive that you just end up going, yeah, whatever. You know, like, I just feel if they'd been able to play it out over a longer arc, I'd care more about all these things, and I wouldn't be making, like, random, oh, that's very melodramatic. Instead, I'd actually being touched by it.
I mean, if you look at the actual story, not the writing, like, the plot.
The actual
There's
plot.
nothing wrong with the plot.
Right, exactly.
It's fine.
Definitely the writing. It's
just
so heavy-handed.
The execution just really fails miserably.
And it's not just because we're reading an old comic, which obviously sometimes are quite... It's just really kind of... And now let me tell you about everything to do with this Magia family. And I don't need to know all of that.
As I said before, like, on our off-recording chat, like, I've read lots of comics from 1980 specifically, and they're pretty much all better than this.
Yeah.
That's not fair. This is, like, on the lower rung. You know?
Yeah.
Because it's just, so, but, I'm looking forward to the next issue because it won't be this. So,
I was really happy when this arc finished.
Yeah, I mean, I like the graveyard set piece. I like the whole kind of noir element. Like, if they played on, like, the noir and horror stuff a bit more, as well. They did it a lot in the last issue, but yeah. So hopefully the next issue will be good and not just but we'll see.
I'm just having a quick flick at it. It looks good. It looks better. Already.
It looks better.
Yeah.
There's like a casino, so...
It has Lei Kung in and DW, so...
Oh, well, I mean, it's automatically better.
It's automatically better the minute it has Lei Kung in, so whatever.
Oh, and DW, because I like DW.
I do as well. He's amazing.
Actually, I'll point out, I made a post about a show called Warrior a while ago on Facebook. Martial arts show based on one of Bruce Lee's concepts. How true it is to that concept, kind of debate in my head. But Lei Kung's in it.
Oh, really?
And he's my favourite character, actually.
Nice.
He plays this very suave sort of, for lack of a better word, criminal. But he's not really a criminal. He has connections everywhere, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he wears a top hat. So I like him.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, top hats always help.
I just thought I'd point that out. As for the show itself, for martial arts fans, the fights are good. The show's not perfect, but it's entertaining. I don't know.
Is it a Netflix one?
No. I can't remember what it came out on. I acquired it. It's on Foxtel here, but yeah, I would. If anyone interested, I'll watch the pilot. And if you like the pilot, you'll like the rest of the show. If you didn't like the pilot, then you won't. So it's pretty. Yeah, pilot's a good indication for once, because you know how pilots are usually like the worst episode.
Yeah.
But this pilot actually gives like a good impression of the show. So yeah, I recommend checking it out. You know, because martial arts.
Mm-hmm. I think it might be on. Oh no, maybe it's a different show.
It should be on free-to-air TV.
I'll have to keep an eye out.
It did get renewed for season 2 as well, so don't worry about watching a cancelled show.
Just seeing if it's on in the UK anywhere. Apparently Sky TV. Maybe. Oh, it's showing right now on Sky TV. Okay, cool. I actually have access to that, so I might have a look.
Check out the pilot. Oh, and if you're a Bruce Lee fan, definitely watch it.
Which I am, so yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Of course.
Well,
No, not of course, but I am.
So, episode's a bit short. So, you've seen Bruce Lee's movies then?
I've seen Bruce Lee, but... a long time ago, so don't start quizzing me on them. But I grew up on them, and I loved them. Yeah, I did. Yeah. I remember like getting really, really into a few of them. So
Bruce Lee's awesome, and he's very important figure in the history of martial arts. Introduced the concept of training different styles and taking the best out of them to a lot of people. Probably one of the most important figures in martial arts history. I'm not one of those guys that says Bruce Lee is the best fighter ever or something, because, but, his philosophies are really awesome if you're into martial arts. So, yeah. Anyway, Iron Fist and Bruce Lee crossover never happening. I guess Shang-Chi counts, right?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, and I still, we may even get to see Iron Fist in the film. I don't know.
Look, I don't even...
I'm just saying there's a chance. And, but they've had some, casting rumours for Shang-Chi now, and that's enough to start getting me interested.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure a lot of the Iron Fist fans are interested in the Shang-Chi movie, so I guess
we should keep. I mean, I think it's worth keeping an eye on. So
yeah. Well, it sounds like you're already doing that, so that's super.
Well, me and Marvel films, I tend to keep somewhat of an eye on it, even if I'm not really paying full attention.
Yeah, it can be hard to keep an eye on stuff with all the rumors and hearsay, but
yeah, it's always a case of not jumping on those initial rumors and waiting till a reputable source comes up with it, because there's always so much this and that, and a lot of it's so clickbaity.
Totally.
I try and wait till either Hollywood Reporter or Deadline or Variety come up with it, because I just can't be bothered with geek sites anymore. I went to CBR and read two articles. Two articles caught my attention, and I read them, and neither one had any information in.
They've gotten really bad lately.
I mean, they're quite spoilery a lot of the time, so you have to be quite careful about their headlines. So I'd kind of stopped going to them. But I think I was not bored yesterday, but I was kind of checking in to see if I'd missed any interesting news. And I had a look, and one of them was I'd just come back from the Endgame re-release, so I'd already seen it. And they had one should people bother going to see it again? And I thought, I'll go read what they thought, because I know what I think. And it didn't even talk about what footage was included in the re-release. So I'm like, what's the point of this article? It was literally just speculation about what might be in it. And I was like, then don't title it should people go see it? And I can't remember what the other one was, but the fact that two in a row had no information in at all, I was just, why am I even going here?
You saw the re-release recently, right?
I saw it yesterday. Yes.
Did it include like significant stuff or?
No.
Okay.
If you've already seen the film, I would say, hand on heart, there is no point in going to see it again unless you want to see the film again.
It was just like a couple of 2-minute scenes or something.
There was. It's all end credits, so it's all after the actual film. And
Wait, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, that's bad.
Yeah, there's a look. This is like not particularly spoilery, and hopefully by now anyone who wants to see it will have seen it by the time you get this up. There's like a Stan Lee tribute, a really, really pointless deleted scene, and a little preview of Far From Home.
Well, I mean, I wasn't expecting much, but I was expecting better than that. I thought they would have put stuff into the actual movie.
I'm not too worried that they didn't, but
Oh.
I just thought the deleted scene we got might be better.
I mean, the way they advertised it was like there would be new stuff in the movie itself.
They did initially, but then all the subsequent coverage kind of said it'll all be after the end credits.
Okay.
And they do have like an announcement before the film to say it's all going to be after the end credits.
Yeah.
So they have like Anthony Russo coming up and saying, "Hey guys, thanks. Wait till the end of the credits," and blah.
And then people leave the theater.
No, nobody left ours. What was interesting with ours was like there were clearly people in there that had never seen the film.
Okay.
Just from their
yeah.
reactions, because there's no way they'd have been like reacting that way if they knew these things were going to happen. So that was kind of cool. So I planned to see it on Thursday anyway because I wanted to go see it one last time before it left the cinema, and then when they announced the re-release, I just shifted it to Friday. So it wasn't like I'd gone out of my way to go do it, but yeah, I just thought that the deleted scene we got might have been one that I could debate whether it should have been in the film or not. Not one where I was like, I can't believe you even filmed that, like, kind of scene.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a little bit disappointing. Stan Lee tribute was genuinely very lovely, though. So, but not worth sitting through 3 hours of film.
You've already seen.
Yeah, and it'll probably be on the DVD, or if not, I think the Russos are working on a little documentary about Stan Lee, and I'm sure that's what they pulled the footage from. So, I mean, it's going to be shown elsewhere, and obviously Far From Home's in cinemas next week, so.
I don't even know if they're showing it in Australia.
Yes, they are. Don't be daft. You get it from Monday.
Oh, do I?
I think.
Oh, okay. I'm just looking at.
We get it from
movie.
Tuesday, so I think you get it Monday or Tuesday.
Oh, whoops! I should probably go to the coming soon section.
Might.
Still can't see it, but I would be very surprised if they weren't showing it.
I mean,
here.
all my Australian friends have booked, so apart from you, clearly you are one of my Australian friends. I don't mean to sound rude there, but yeah, people have booked for it, so you're definitely getting it. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Godzilla's next on my list. Actually, I haven't seen that yet.
I saw that.
I don't know how it looks, but I want to see it on the big screen.
Yeah, I think it's worth seeing on the big screen.
Yeah, and I might see if I can get like a cheap ticket, I might see Endgame.
Have you seen it yet?
No.
All right, that's worth.
No,
seeing.
I stopped. Not related to Marvel, but I decided to stop supporting Disney. By seeing their movies. But with Endgame, it's like, well, it's the end to this thing. You know, even if I haven't thought it's the best, sometimes like it is end to a thing that I should probably see. You know, on the big screen.
It's worth it for that. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a good thing they're re-releasing it. Otherwise, I would have missed it. But yeah. Oh, speaking of re-releases, I'm actually seeing Enter the Dragon on the big screen. That'll be fun.
Oh, nice. That would be nice.
Yeah, they're showing it at a theater soon. There's a lot of places around here that show old movies. Actually,
we've got a lot of old re-releases, I should say. We've got like what did we get a trailer for yesterday? Apocalypse Now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Our cinema is also like doing a Groundhog Day double bill with Groundhog Day, which is kind of funny, but like I don't think I could watch it twice in a row. I mean, I love it, and I appreciate the humour in showing it twice, But yeah, that's weird. And Jaws.
There'll be some people that will, I bet.
Oh, I'm sure. There's Jaws is coming back. Matrix for its 20th anniversary. It's just like we've got With Nell and I coming back, obviously British cult film. But yeah, I saw a trailer for.
You say Wicker Man?
No, With Nell and I.
Oh, right. Okay, they're probably quite different.
They're very different. But Midsummer's coming next week, isn't it? And that's looks like Wicker Man, but younger and newer. Yeah, so I was very bizarre to get a trailer for Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, well, a pleasant surprise though, I'm sure.
It's a great film. If they didn't show all
I haven't actually seen it.
If they didn't show all these films very late at night, I would probably go see some of these releases, but I can't do evening films, so it's bittersweet for me.
I wonder what type of movies. Oh, they show a bunch of westerns at Power Man's place, don't they? Mostly.
Yeah, they show a lot of westerns.
Love my westerns.
I love westerns as well.
I mean, I would love to talk about westerns right now, but we have talked about non-Iron Fist related stuff for a while. So next time, the topic of DW theatre comes up, you can bet we're going to go on a tangent about our favourite westerns.
Let's do it. I'll prepare.
Yes. So but I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you enjoyed the issue, that's awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I enjoyed parts of it, you know. But so from now, I'm going to be aiming for the podcast to be bi-weekly because that synergizes perfectly with everything else in my life. Also, make sure you check out my Superman podcast with Ray from Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast. We do great work over there as well. And bicker a lot too. So, you know, he's quite frustrating to bicker with because he's so cheerful all the time.
He's very accommodating. Like, you need to fight with me.
All right. Well, also shout out to them, and you as well, Rebecca, because you're like part of them pretty much. You did make it into that comic, which I'm eternally jealous of.
Sorry. I don't think I'll ever quite get over that. That was very cool.
I think my head caught on fire. I was just like, so jealous.
I had no idea. Awesome, it was such a shock. So. Yeah.
Actually, I bought that issue as well as the ones leading up to it. So I have a piece of you in my home.
Okay.
You can take that as creepy or loving as you want. Up to you.
Take it as loving.
But yeah, shout out because they just did the 100th episode recently. I know Ray put an unholy amount of work into that.
He put an unholy amount of work, and then I'm in the latest. I did the latest one with Connor, the other Connor. So it's a little bit Connor. Irreverent, shall we say?
Well, yeah. All that aside, it's good to be back.
It's good to have you back. Honestly, some of these. The solo episodes, when the issues aren't good, are difficult.
They're tough, yeah. And as for Carl, he is doing stuff for a new job, so hopefully he will be back soon with his drawling American accent and slurping a coffee and old geek stories from the 80s.
Telling us what we've got wrong, generally.
Yeah. All right, well, until next time, don't annoy the Magia. Or mafia, or whatever the local crime syndicate is in your area.
Yes, never do, and try not to get buried alive.
Iron Fist and all other characters in these comics are properties of Marvel and Disney. Any music or images we use belong to their respective copyright holders. We do this for fun, so please don't sue us. You can contact us at sonsofthedragonpodcast@gmail.com. Just send us mail, comments, thoughts, anything you want, really. Doesn't even have to be related to Iron Fist. If you don't want it read on the air, though, make sure you mention that. You can also find us on Facebook, the Immortal Iron Fist Podcast, Sons of the Dragon. Our Twitter, at Iron Fist Podcast. Our SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Sons of the Dragon, hyphens where the spaces are. Our YouTube, Connor Carl. Just search Iron Fist Podcast and you'll find us real quick. We are also on iTunes. If you find us there, give us a review and rate us. If it's less than 5 stars, please say why so we can improve the show.
And we're on Podcast Garden in the literature section. And last but not least, head over to our WordPress, Sons of the Dragon, the Immortal Iron Fist Podcast.wordpress.com. That's where I put all the show notes. I'd like to thank Thomas Tissot for composing the Iron Fist theme song we use at the start of our Iron Fist episodes on the podcast. I'd also like to thank Peter John Sikorsky for composing the Power Man and Iron Fist theme we use at the start of our Power Man and Iron Fist episodes. And finally, thanks to you guys for listening.